had a really good intro here, and we just didn't record it, I guess. So
I guess. I don't know. We just talked about like new for the next time I'm back in Kansas City, just like new things we're gonna do for the show.
And then we could take our microphones all over Kansas City.
We're taking the show on the road, people.
Taking it on the road. So we first thought, let's go to like our favorite like local bar, Stewie McBrews in Lee Summit, if you haven't been. And
hometown.
We just sit at a table, and then we could ask the server, what's the worst part about your job? And
yeah.
I don't know.
We'll have to clear it with the bar first, but we'll figure those details out later. But I think it'd be so fun.
Do it. I know. Okay, we'll make it happen. But yeah, it's Ashton, how was your weekend?
It was good. Do we want to say welcome to Case of the Mondays?
God. Yeah,
you already know why you're here. You know what this is. Two terrible girls talking about gorgeous jobs.
Two girls talking about terrible stories from terrible jobs. Welcome back.
Two Girls, One Podcast. There is a podcast I listen to called Two Girls, One Ghost. And like, they're really funny. And they like obviously did it on purpose. But yeah, so welcome to Case of the Mondays. I'm Ashton.
And I'm Jordan.
And this is a singing podcast now. So, I like your shirt. I love that. Mahomes and KC. If you're not watching on the YouTube, which we have now. So what's the YouTube name?
It's just Case of the Mondays podcast.
Perfect. You can find us anywhere.
Anywhere. We are literally anywhere. So yeah. So by the time this comes out, they'll all be uploaded. So we'll be good to go. But yeah, we're on YouTube now. So I don't listen to things on YouTube, but I think people do. So
because we're a bunch of boomers. We're like, wait, people are doing that? What?
Who does the YouTube anymore? I thought that was what Twitch was.
I thought those were the video games. I don't know.
Yeah. We don't know. We don't know, but we're here for it. So yeah, so we're expanding our audience. You know, uploading to the YouTube. I'm not really sure if I did it. I think I did it right. It's available. But on one video, I accidentally selected kids. And then I was like, oh my God, this is not for kids. So I had to delete it. I had to re-upload it. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, kids YouTube, very different than adult YouTube. So
yeah.
Don't worry.
I'm dead. So, I also like how you call it the YouTube, like it's on the line.
It's on the line.
It's online.
Oh, wait, did you hit record on your phone?
Yeah, I did. Did you?
I didn't. No.
You bozo.
I'm a bozo. The big old bozo me.
We're trying our best, people.
I'm also holding this like it's a microphone.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I just watched the Call Her Daddy episode this morning, and
yeah.
She's just walking around with her microphone, so I feel like it's appropriate, and it just makes me more comfortable.
Well, good. So, as long as you're comfortable, Jordan. Yeah. This is a safe space.
Thank you. I can't afford therapy, so I decided to make a podcast. So
oh my God.
I even have like a little foot. You can't see it, but this office chair has this weird footrest that folds out. So thank you, Sam's Club, for the really cool office chair.
I have a footrest as well. Let me grab it really quick. It's such an old late. Clayton got it for me. It's funny how different people like shop for other people where like, so I like, and I have to think about this. It's like, oh, like the gift's not for me, even though I got this really cool Budweiser shirt for Clayton, knowing I was going to take it over. So like, I like clothes. So I buy other people clothes. Clayton likes weird gadgets. So he buys weird trinkets and gadgets. Yeah, so this is my footrest. Hold on, let me grab it.
Oh, I like when she shows up because then we can put it on the TikTok.
It's like a pillow, but for your feet. I don't know what the name
it looks is. Like a little shoe shine boy is gonna come over. What a weird gift.
Very soft. Yeah, he was like, Ashton, I'm really excited about this, and then I have to pretend to also be really excited about this foot pillow. Also, it's dirty, so whoops.
People did have those in the office, and I remember people like taking the shoes off, and like I'm like, that's nasty.
Oh my God! Speaking of shoes off, I don't even want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. So this past weekend, Clayton had a work trip. They have like an annual meeting in Minneapolis, and I was like, ooh, like I'm gonna take Friday off anyway. So yeah, like I would love to go with you. The first leg of the flight, like we land in Chicago and I look down and Clayton is putting his shoes on and I'm
Excuse me?
I didn't say anything because I don't want to embarrass him. But
Are
I'm
you
like,
the worst person ever?
it's been 6 years. And I just now realized that you're a shoes off airplane person. I'm sleeping next to a stranger, Jordan. I don't know how to
I think
deal.
you should reevaluate that entire relationship now.
I'm in pretty deep, but I was just like, this is the person I picked.
Yeah. I would be like, so did you say anything? Like, were you like, do you always do this?
No, I didn't say anything because there's a guy next to us. But I couldn't be like, are you freaking serious right now?
Oh
like,
my God.
Who do you think you are? Nasty. So no, I didn't say anything. He won't even know that it bugs me until he listens to this. So, and if he never listens,
that's
then
a move.
Bad on
Peyton
him.
doesn't listen. I will say, I mean, I've learned Peyton doesn't listen. I could like talk mad shit. I could be given his deepest, darkest secrets and he would never know.
Oh my God. I'm listening at that.
I'm like, here is his biggest insecurities.
I was about that because I was going to say in my intro, because I had a whole like intro plan for like what I did this weekend. And then I got a little derailed today. And I was like, you know what? The people I'm going to talk about, they don't listen. I don't even know if mom listens anymore. She says she does, but I don't trust her. Do you think she listens?
No, I think I don't know. I think I know mom, and if she does listen to this, I know she'll text us. But our mom, when she is listening to anything at all or watching a TV show, she's on Instagram Reels the entire time. So
absolutely
knowing her, she's like online shopping, and so she may listen, but I don't think she's attentively listening. Like I think she's like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, what is the Stark lady that she likes?
Katie Stark. She texts me all the time, and she's like, do you follow Katie Stark? And I'm like, yes, mom, because you told me to, and you always text me about her. Did she text you the same thing about the quote?
Yeah. You should really follow Katie Stark. And I was like, I followed her a long time ago and you told me to follow her. So yes, you don't need to ask me every time you share.
But I'm not religiously watching. It's our mom's favorite influencer.
Which I love it. Like, cause I mean, I follow influencers too. And it's just funny because it's like, there's influencers for every age group, which I think is kind of cool because like for her, and she's like recently discovered Instagram as if like, and it's kind of cool because it's like, we discovered Instagram a very long time ago. And she's like, within the last year really into it, and it's like she loves it. It's amazing, but now she's very tied to it. So what she's gonna listen, if she listens to this, she's deleting Instagram for sure.
Exactly. She'd be like, you guys need to stop talking about me on your podcast. I'm like, it's true. But yeah, so do you want me to tell you why my morning got very derailed today?
You absolutely should, because I was
gonna tell you anyway,
and now I'm like, I'm going at it today. We're having a good episode today.
Yeah.
So tell me what derailed your day.
This morning, I'm in a much better mood right now. But this morning when I was typing up my notes, I was like, I'm in a horrible mood. Like, and I'm really excited to record because I'm like, this always puts me like in a much better headspace. Like I like kind of like resets for the day and it makes me like happy again. So Clayton he comes home for lunch yesterday. And he calls me like a couple hours later and he's like, hey, I just put in the maintenance request for like these 3 things. And like, they could come today, could come tomorrow. And I'm like kind of thrown off because I'm like, okay, I would like a little bit more of a heads up if like the maintenance people are going to come because like I need to clean things. Like if they're going to be working in the bathroom, do I need to like empty out the cabinet? Do I need to like wipe everything down? Like, I don't want these guys coming in and thinking like, oh my God, this lady lives like a pig, which mom would be very embarrassed about. And so I'm like, A, I need a little bit of a heads up. B, my outfits. So like if I'm working from home, like yesterday I was wearing a tennis skirt and like a long sleeve shirt, but I wasn't wearing a bra because like my work camera.
Why a tennis skirt? That's so much nicer. Like I'm like wearing my PJ bottoms. So
yeah, I like to dress it up a little. Today I'm in like biker shorts, but I don't know. Like I'm very casual.
Mine's more athletic wear. Like I'm wearing yoga pants right now, but then like this baseball tee, like a Chiefs baseball tee. So
sure, you're totally wearing pajama pants. I'm just kidding. Show yourself. Ooh.
Look at the leg. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Continue. You are gonna look so funny on the YouTube because you're like
Yeah, I should probably put the footrest down for this.
Yeah, so you're not lounging and like lying down.
They're like, is she laying? It'd be cool if we had like a cool office with cool chairs we could like get comfortable in.
Yeah.
But we don't. We're not that rich.
One day.
Sponsor us. Okay, continue.
Sponsor us so we can live together forever. Anyway, so I'm like, Clayton, I need a heads up, or I need more of a heads up for when they're going to come. Cause like my outfit, if they came yesterday, I was literally wearing a tennis skirt, a white long sleeve shirt, and no bra. Cause it's comfy. I'm not expecting visitors. My nipples would have been looking at them in the eye. Like, you get it. All the girls are going to get it. And like, yeah, like no one's going to see me today.
And if you're alone, you should be as comfortable as you want to be. Like, you know?
Yes. And so literally Clayton, I'm on the phone with him and I'm like, oh, like, I wish you would have told me like beforehand.
Like they could be here now. Like what?
Yeah. And I don't have time to go like change or something. So Clayton, he can tell like I'm kind of like stressed about it. Yeah. Which for not like any like real reason. I was just like, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I have my reasons. I'm not going to say it for no reason, but I was like, I'm being a little ridiculous, but still, I'm like, I think these are reasonable things. Anyway, so he adjusts the time. He can't cancel it completely. And so they're like, okay, yeah, they'll either come like tomorrow, so Wednesday, or Saturday. I'm like, okay, well, they're probably going to come Wednesday, which is the day that we're recording, and we record over lunch. But I'm like, if they come in the middle of this, it's going to be so incredibly loud and disruptive that I'm like,
we're going to have to pause and resume.
And what if I was in a meeting? Like, I don't know what time they're going to come. So I was like, you know what? Okay, whatever. I'll just deal with it. So he ended up coming this morning. And also the other piece of this, why I was annoyed, is like Clayton makes maintenance requests for things that we could do ourselves. Like,
oh no, he's that guy.
Unclogging the sink drain. It was literally like, can you unclog the sink drain and the shower drain? I'm like, Clayton, can you just buy Drano and I will do it myself? Anything that like Jordan dad did for us, or
I would probably make fun of us if we called maintenance for that. He probably would.
I know. I'm kind of like, can you man up and like do this? Like, and so
he's really ready to roast Clayton on this episode.
Yes. And I don't know if I told him that part, but I'm just like, we can do it. And yes, it's free for them to come and fix it. But I'm like, I'm just a little embarrassed that it's like, because he's not here. He's at work when they come home. So it just looks like, oh, this girl can't like do anything. This stupid girl can't do anything for herself. And I'm like, thank you so much. And also I didn't make their maintenance request. Yeah.
I would be like, here's our things we call maintenance for. Here's our things we don't call maintenance for.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, at the next place, I'm like, I think we need to have some ground rules. Also the reason that the shower is clogged, it's just because like I have a lot of hair.
We shed a lot. If you're watching the YouTube, you can see this mane and that mane's about the same. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the issue, and it's only been the last couple months, and I don't know if like anyone else has dealt with this. I know I've talked to mom about this, but like apparently after having COVID, you can have like hair loss for a couple months. And I really think that's what's happening. Yeah. I think that's what's happening to me, because it's only when I shower and after I shower, like right now, it's totally fine. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this poor maintenance guy is going to see the hair rat that has been living in my drain for like a month now.
You have to think they see that shit all the time though. They're not fazed by that. They signed up for that nasty job. Like they get it, you know, it really doesn't bother them. I would be embarrassed too. Yeah. I would be more embarrassed you called them to clean a drain that you could have poured Drano.
Yeah. That's been my day. How was your week going?
It's actually good. We did Miller was sick all weekend. I could go really gross into this, but let's just say I've been puked on in everywhere from my waist up. So my face, my back, my hair, everything.
Your back.
Yeah. I knew he was gonna puke. So I picked him up. I'm like, it's okay, buddy. And then woo down my back, like in my hair and everything. So
where were you?
And it was the middle of the night. I was literally dead. That was the first time I was dead asleep. He threw up literally on my face. And I don't think you get your mom card until you've been puked on your face and or in your mouth. So
oh my God.
So if you need birth control, there it is. Yeah, it was a lot. And then honestly, Friday was a lot better. I still kept him home from daycare. And then Saturday, we had to go to Columbia to see Peyton's family for Easter. And we were like, he's doing a lot better. Like, he's going to be good today. Sure enough, he was not. And I was like, yeah, buddy, let's just like go through McDonald's. Why would a sick person want McDonald's? Like,
it makes me happy. I don't know.
I mean, I was like, McDonald's sounds good to me, and he can't communicate yet. He literally ate like 2 French fries, and then we get on the highway, and then it's like everywhere. And he looked so cute. He had like this little button-down shirt on and everything. So yeah, we had to just throw those clothes out on the highway because yeah, I gonna drive? Well, we pulled over and cleaned it up and did our best. And by the way, this is when like I know Peyton doesn't listen, so I can roast his ass. Anytime Miller puked, Peyton was also in the bathroom gagging. And I can't tell you how many times, like, as a wife, at some point in time, you will call your husband a pussy. And that is one of those times. And I never thought our relationship would get to this point. But I will say I am so quick now when Miller gets sick and Peyton can't handle it. He's like, what? And I'm like, man up. This is our son. Like, you helped create him. So get over here. Yeah.
Oh, and for everyone who doesn't know him, like, he is a manly man. Like,
he's a big guy, tattoos. Like, he's a big guy.
Works like a really difficult, like, labor intensive job. So it's just so funny where it's like a little smell, a little 2-year-old baby will shut him down.
Shut Peyton down
so quickly.
Yeah, it's like it's very ironic. But yeah, and while he was sick, so like we did a date night Friday night. Woo. So we dropped off at Peyton's aunt and uncle, and I guess he did have a bad poop there because I knew he was getting over the sickness. He was good all day, and I let them watch him. And then he had a bad poop there, and even like his aunt texted us and was like, oh my God, I haven't done one of those in a while. That was wild. That smell was like a whole new level. I don't know. He's been sick. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm like, hey, it's done. Right. As we're leaving, I was like, we were like, did he toot? Like, oh, Miller, you tooted. Sure enough, we were like,
lingering.
Like, there's not a toot. And I was like, okay, well, because he was in just a shirt and his diaper. Because like, I don't know if the pants got ruined with the last poop, but we just had a diaper on. And they had like one of those like leather recliners that you like, so in their living room, it made sense to just lift that up and put him on there. And she was even like, oh yeah, that's where I changed him last time. So I was like, oh, perfect. And I was like, hey, Peyton, can you go get the wipes or whatever for me? And I'll get him ready. And I'm literally like talking away, and I take Miller and I have the seat thing up, right? The leg part of it. I was like, oh yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I sit Miller down and it explodes out of the sides. And like, he disrespected that chair. And I'm not kidding you. Everyone in that house started either laughing or gagging. And there's like, at that point, like there's son and like other people had come home. And we were like, so it's me, Peyton, and his cousins and his aunt and uncle. And everybody's like, or they're laughing. And I'm just like, and I'm like looking at Peyton. He's outside about to puke. And I'm like, thank you so much. I am at your family's house. I need someone to help me. And I'm just holding this 30-something pound baby. Miller's like laughing at me, I think, at one point. And everybody's just like,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's a lot. So finally they were like, oh my God, I got you. I'll help you. So we just took him to the bathtub and just like hose him off.
Yeah.
It was so much, but I was like, you're picking up that goddamn chair. So Peyton cleaned the chair and I come out. By the time I cleaned Miller up, I walked out and Peyton's cleaning the chair. And I was like, it's over with. You can quit with the dramatics. Like I was so mad.
Chill.
Because at this point I've been puked on like 3 nights in a row while he's gagging. And I was like, you can pick it up, man up. So
yeah. Hopefully for Mother's Day, he can make it up to you and take care of all the poopy diapers. Yeah.
He normally does. I will say he will fully admit, like, he's like, I think at one point, because he pooped again Saturday. And while we were after the puking incident, he pooped again. And I made him throw it away because that's like my punishment. Like, at least you can smell it to the trash can while I do the dirty work. And I guess he did tell his cousin, he's like, my wife is a bigger man than I am. Like, he just knows. Like, he's like, it's fine. It's my weakness. I'll take it. So I called Ashton this week and I was like, tell me if this is a dumb idea. Cause sometimes I just think of stuff and I'm like, tell me if this is dumb. And she'll tell me. And I said, what
in a nice way.
Yeah. Ashton will do something where like, I can tell in her voice, she's like, you sound like a dumbass, but I'm going to be nice to you. And I have to be like, Ashton, tell me if it's stupid. And she'll be like, okay, it's kind of dumb. And I'm like,
everyone
thanks.
tells me the same thing, like whether it's outfits or like plans. They're like, Ashton, tell me how you really feel. All my friends in college would get so mad at me because they're like, Ashton, like, do you like this outfit? Be honest. And they would know on the way I said yes. If I was like, yeah, you look really good, they'd be like, you hate it. But if I was like, oh my God, yes, that's the one. Like they'd be like, okay, she kind of likes it. So
yeah, no, it's like very different. When Ashton says yes and it's a no, she's like, yeah. And it's like, there's no explanation behind it. It's just like, yeah. Yeah. But like and so even with this, I was like, what if we added a segment? And then she's like, yeah, like I could tell she was confused. But then I was like, no, like what if we added like weird news, but we each just brought like one or two stories and then they're like kind of current events, but they're kind of work related. But like we're gonna keep this, I think, loosely work related. So yeah, I mean, we're not gonna like every story is gonna be like about a man getting arrested in Florida, and it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But so we thought this would be a good idea just to kind of like break it up a little bit. So we're gonna bring you weird news. So
sweet.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go first.
So I'm going to take us to a little place called Lunch Lady Land, which I'm sure we've all been to. And I was thinking about this when I found this story. I was like, being the lunch lady at a school is either like the best job because like all the kids love you. Hopefully you like to cook. Or it's the worst job because I just remember crapping on school lunches from the time I started school until like the very end. Like there was very few lunches
pretty bad
that I liked. Most were terrible. And so I'm like, you know what? I now like have a lot of sympathy for those women and men that work in the school lunchrooms. I found this article on NPR and this happened on March 23rd. So Tina Clark is a kitchen manager at a middle school in the UK. And at her job, she usually has 2 chefs that will help her feed all the students. And there's like hundreds of kids. But for some reason on this day, one chef was out with COVID and the other one called in sick. So it's just her. The same day, Gordon Ramsay, world-renowned chef, is doing a BBC radio show. And Tina calls in and she's like, hey, here's the situation. Like after your interview, if you have time, could you please come help me like feed all these kids? And she's kind of joking, whatever. And he's like, oh my gosh, I wish, but like, I can't do it after the show. So a little while later, she gets a message that's like, hey, your chef is going to be coming in an hour. And she's like, wait, what? He's actually sending someone. So this is a direct quote from the article. So Ramsay sent Chef Roy Rob Cameron via a cab from Ramsay's Lucky Cat restaurant in London, and Clark immediately put him to work prepping cauliflower cheese for students, which I think is so funny. Like you work at this like world-class restaurant and your boss is like, hey, who's like usually probably a jerk, like, hey, can you go, or you're going to this middle school and you're going to help Mrs. Clark fix these kids lunch.
That's amazing. That's actually super cool. Super like nice. How nice of him. Wow.
Yeah. I thought that was like a good, weird news to start off with. Oh, also my favorite quote that the lady said in the article was, I'm sure he was terrified of having 3 menopausal women around him in the kitchen all day. So obsessed with Tina Clark and Gordon Ramsay. So what is your weird news?
Wow. I'm glad you started that good because this
is yours bad.
Yeah. So the headline for this came from the Huffington Post, has a whole weird news section. So that's kind of where I pulled my story from. So headline says, chew on this. Mike Tyson owns a cannabis company in Colorado. A new state law says that they can't sell ear-shaped cannabis gummies in Colorado. So the former boxing champ's new edibles are shaped like ears with a bite out of them in reference to his 1997 WBA heavyweight championship when he took a bite out of Evander Holyfield's ear.
Oh my God.
So, so kind of funny they were making these edibles but the reason for the law is because the state law is now prohibiting marijuana edibles for being shaped like humans, animals, fruit, or other images that could attract children.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, because I was I mean, it's funny. I could see maybe like the guy who got his ear taken a chunk out of being pissed and being like, seriously, like now I have to relive it, or like give me a cut. But that makes sense. Like you're not doing hilarious Scooby snacks. That actually is really funny.
I know. I was like, so the reason for the law is to like not make it to where they attract kids more. Now, I mean, I could still see a kid being like, I don't know, like they see a gummy and they just like take it. But like, that's when you should be a responsible parent and probably not do that. Like if you choose to do those things, don't do them around your kids, I guess, you know? Yeah. But yeah, so I guess it's a pretty successful company though. I mean, he's been in this business since 2016 and reportedly earns more than $653,000 per month from it.
Wow. Well, I was going to ask, like, you know how I feel like every celebrity either has like a makeup brand, a wine brand, a tequila brand now.
Right.
And like, yes, some of them are actually involved. I feel like most of them just like slap their name on a perfume and call it a day.
So I'm curious.
Yeah, they just pay for it. I'm so curious how involved he is. It sounds like he's pretty involved. I would just like to imagine Mike Tyson in a business meeting, face tattoo and all. And he's like, I want the ear. I want the ear.
And he's like, let's do it.
You want like a tiger? I want the ear. Take the chunk.
Which is hilarious.
Is so funny.
Yeah.
How many milligrams was the chunk taken out of? I'm just kidding. It would have been 5. Good. Now it's
well, so now they have to change the shape of the bitten ear to the letter T before they, you know,
for tampon,
before they debut, before the new law takes place within the year, I guess. So you can still buy your ear-shaped gummy till the end of the year if you're curious.
Thank God. Oh my God. Did you hear what I said? You're like, it's a T shape. And I said, T as in tampon.
I was trying to read. I was focusing.
I know. We can't do 2 things at once. I can't talk and read.
I can't. So weird news for the week. That was my weird news.
That was good.
Ashton, you have a story. You have your story for today, though. All right.
Yes. So my story today. So like I said, I was in Minneapolis for the weekend for Clayton's work business trip. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about, so it's loosely work related. And this is a story from Clayton's office Christmas party that I attended this past year, and it was very fun. So I don't have a job, and I know, Jordan, you don't have a job where we like really travel, but of course, like I've heard.
I thought you were like, I don't have a job, and I was like, I have a job, but thank you. Did you
actually have to tell you guys, I've been hosting this podcast. I do not have a job. No.
We're not that successful with this podcast, so I don't know where Ashton thinks our money is coming from.
I meant like a job where you like travel. Yes, I had my camp job, but like I wasn't.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. You were just very slow in the delivery, and I was like, Ashton, I am still employed. Did you quit your job for this podcast?
Because we had like 50 listeners. I thought LA was gonna call me. I thought I'd be there by now.
Yeah, they're still, they pushed it back. So they're giving you a call though. Okay, perfect. Continue. So you don't have a job where you travel a lot, nor do I.
Yes. And so this was kind of my first experience this past weekend of like, being around a bunch of like and it's all these different traveling groups. So when they get together, you know, like stuff is going down, like drama, people hooking up, people getting crazy.
Hell yeah.
And it was so much fun just to be like an outsider and be like, I'm not going to see a lot of these people ever again. And it reminded me of Clayton's office Christmas party. So at the party, of course, like most people have a +1. There's like a few couples within the project team, but most everyone had a +1. So Clayton and I had a conversation beforehand where he's like, because of course he tells me everything. I know the drama that goes on in the office. I know.
Oh, hell yeah. As any spouse does. Yeah.
Yeah. I know who's giving him trouble at work, who we like, who we don't like. And so Clayton,
you're refreshing that in your brain. before you go. Yeah.
And I'm reminding myself, or I had asked Clayton, I was like, oh, is so-and-so going to be there? This like gal he didn't really get along with. And Clayton's like, yeah, she's going to be there. Like, Ashton, you can't say anything rude. Like, you have to be on your best behavior. And I'm like, I'm going to be on my best behavior. Wink.
Wink.
And he's like, actually, Ashton, like, I'm serious. Like, I'm kind of stressing out. I'm just joking. A little bit.
But it's like quicker wink. It's like,
yeah, I was just joking. Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm totally not gonna talk to this lady. And so, because I'm like, I don't know, I'm just like stepping in, and then I get to step away, and Clayton gets to deal with all the repercussions.
You get to feel how it is, and then not return for a whole year. You know,
the best. I love being a +1. It's so good. And so I'm like, Clayton, I promise, like, I'm not going to bring anything up to anyone. Like, honestly, I'm like, I just play dumb. And I'm just like, oh yeah. Like, who are you? No. I was very nice to everyone. I was on my best behavior. And so they didn't have a band, but they didn't even have like a DJ. It was just like a playlist that everyone had put songs on. And there's like a little mini dance floor. Of course, these are all like construction people. So like there's a few like fun ones, but like I'm killing the dance floor. Also, it's like kind of well lit, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, again,
it's like office fluorescent lighting.
Yeah.
And you're doing your weird dance, like the weird dance. It's like,
yeah. Well, they rented out the winery that we had my 25th birthday at.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like a little elevated. It was cute. But yes, I am killing the dance floor. I realized
you are, or are you?
I was, Jordan. There was like 10 people out there by the time I was finished out of like 100 people. You just have to be
better than 9 other people. I mean, you can do that.
Exactly. Well, and I realized, like, I think everyone has a role at the office Christmas party. Like, are you the person that's getting too drunk? I decided I will come close, but it will not be me. But I just need to be fun enough to like get it going.
You need to be the fun girl, the fun +1, you know? Yeah.
And that's the role I elected as myself, obviously. I think everyone else also elected themselves, but I was like, no, I call dibs.
I will take it, guys. I'll take one for the team.
Yeah. So I'm like going to people I've never met before. And I'm like, your dress is too cute to not be dancing. Get over here, Megan. And I'm like trying to get
girls, you don't know. And Clayton doesn't know that well.
No, it was like the wives or like our friend Abby, who like we're actually really good friends with, and she does work there. Like we're like crushing it, whatever.
Shout out Abby. She listens.
Shout out Abby. And so
take your top off, Abby.
Stop. Oh my God, enough. Anyway, do the worm.
Do the worm, Abby. All right, go ahead.
I'm sure it was telling people like, you should do the worm right now. And they're like, I'm with my coworkers and no. And I'm like, be a lot cooler if you did. Anyway, I think I'm doing sideline dances at one point. Anyway, the party ends. Also on the way to the venue, it's like 45 minutes outside of the city. So they like got everyone hotel rooms, and there was a bus from the hotel to the winery. And we get on the bus. Cool. It's like all of our friends and then a couple of olds, maybe like 10 old people. Olds as in like
the end. I'm impressed.
Yes. Oh yeah. But so on the bus to the venue, Clayton's like, okay, I'll be DJ, whatever. And I'm like, Clayton, like you got to play like a party starter. We're trying to think like, what's the best party starter? And I forget what we settle on.
Get this party started.
Yeah, it might have been that, whatever. Or it might have been like Journey, like a classic, or like a Do
Everybody
You Remember?
Knows it.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the guys in the front is like, oh my God, play something good. Like play Scatman. Scatman?
Scat.
That's
who plays it on a party bus? Like who's like that?
To start the party, a psycho.
What the fuck?
An old person. Yeah, I should put that on Mama's party list. Scatman.
That's awful.
I hate that song. Anyway, so that's how we started the night. So I was like, I need to pick this party up. So I have a lot of fun. The party ends. We get back to the hotel, and everyone's like, hey, like, let's, like, we gotta keep the party going in the lobby. Like, woohoo. And I'm like, yeah, definitely. Let me change my shoes, run to the bathroom, and I will be right out while I'm in the bathroom. Also, this bathroom had like floating shelves. And so I'm like pretty drunk. And I'm like editing a TikTok I had made, and I sneeze and I go, whack. right on a floating shelf, and it like splits right above my eyebrow. Like I had a perfect little corner on my forehead.
Like a Harry Potter scar.
Yes. Luckily it didn't hit the eyebrow hair, but it was literally right above. And I come out of the bathroom and I'm like, Clayton, my head hurts.
And are you bleeding?
Yes. It's bleeding kind of a lot. And Clayton's like, oh my God, what happened? And I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Like I just bonked my head. Let's go downstairs. Let's see everyone. And he's like, Ashton, I'm not letting you out of this room. People are going to think I like hit you or something, which is not funny. That's not funny.
No, but is like, it's funny in the fact that he's like, no, like people are going to see you leave a hotel room with this like swollen bloody mess and not be like, whoa,
what were they doing in their room? And now Ashton's here crying, but like having fun.
Ashton's trying to, you would look like you're trying to hold back the tears of pain, but you're like, it's fun. It's good. And
your eyes drink.
Are like
yeah. While my forehead's bleeding. And it was really deep. Like it was Clayton at one point is like, Ashton, like you need stitches. And that for some reason really offended me. Cause I was like, don't say that. Don't say I need stitches and that it's going to scar. Like it just like really like upset me that he said it's going to scar, and it did. And now I really don't care. But for some reason when I was drunk, I was like, that's really the sad. Worst thing you could ever say happen. To me. Yeah. So I bonked my head and then I passed out
at the office Christmas party.
The office Christmas party. And I still have a little scar. And then the best part was I was going home in like the next couple days, the next week or so, to spend a week at mom and dad's. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, I don't want to have to explain to mom and dad that I was drunk and I hit my head.
And I hit my head on a shelf.
I'm like putting like, what is it? Moderna on like the scar, like every single day, making sure it heals. It's like pretty faint now, but I was wearing makeup like every day. Cause I'm like, I don't want to have to explain to them.
Which maybe like, in an open wound, you're like,
come on. I'm like, maybe they'll think it's a pimple. I'd rather have that than have to explain myself
that I got drunk at Clayton's work party, because then they're gonna be like, why did you do that? That's the last place you get drunk at, Ashton. And you're like, F it, free booze.
I had a job. At one point I'm like double fisting wine glasses, like a Chardonnay and a rosé, because they're about to do last call.
Did you waterfall it into your own mouth? Like, were you like,
I'm dancing? It's getting everywhere. I'm covered in wine. Now my head's bleeding. And the next morning in the hotel, we're like so hungover. It was horrible. And we get in the elevator and there's another one of his coworkers. And I'm like, I have to address it. I can't just like, cause then he's really going to think something happened. And so I'm like, he's like, hey, how you guys doing? I was like, oh, I'm good. I took a little tumble last night, but like, I'm doing good now. And he was like, oh, okay. And then in the car, Clayton was like, Ashton, don't ever do that ever again. And I was like, why? And he's like, he's going to think I hit you. And I was like, if I didn't say anything, he's going to think you did something.
He was probably also hungover and didn't even know what was going on. So he was probably,
he wouldn't have noticed. Yeah.
He was probably like, thanks for that weird information.
I led with that. I took a tumble.
Hey, I took a tumble.
And Clayton said, the guy was super nice. Clayton said that week, he was like, hey, is your girlfriend doing better? And Clayton's like, God damn it. Yes.
She's fine. She was drunk.
Shut up. She did it to herself. So yeah, that was my office Christmas
Clayton
party.
Was probably like, God damn it. I was hoping he'd forget.
I know. But of course, all of our friends think it's so funny. I'm just like, listen, it was me. I sneezed in the bathroom. And yeah.
And while I was editing a TikTok.
Yeah. It was very embarrassing.
Why were you so close to the shelf? You had to be like very close to the shelf in order. Oh yeah, that's fair.
I was
the room spinning and you're like, I'll go back downstairs.
I was like adamant. I'm like, I'm not missing this party. And everyone's like, yeah, you just disappeared at like 2 a.m. And I was like, well, yeah, I was bleeding out of my eyeball.
I should have disappeared. It was
a sign from God. He was like, Ashton, this is the only thing that's going to keep you in this room. Even still, the devil works hard, but I work harder. So yeah, it was a good time. I can't wait for next year.
I like it. You know what? I honestly, Office Christmas Party is probably one of my favorite Christmas movies. And I just, I'm a big fan of the HR lady in that movie. Like, it's just like
Yes.
the non-denominational holiday sweater. Like, it's like,
yeah,
it's very, very different than your story. But like, I enjoy office Christmas parties, and my work doesn't do them, and my old work did. So I do kind of miss that. It was always kind of fun.
Yeah. We do like virtual now. So it's just like me at home and I'm like, cheers, y'all. So actually, no, we did. I think I told you this. We did, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, we did like a little white elephant thing.
Ooh,
and then
cool.
I noticed we didn't do it this year unless I was just like uninvited.
Not invited.
So I thought I got a good gift, but no,
not good enough.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so what's your story this week?
All right. Are you ready? So I've changed my story a couple of times. I'll tell you the story I was going to tell. Peyton told me the story I was going to tell was a little dark. So I had to find, it was like very dark. So I'll tell you after we tell this.
Okay. And then I'll clear it for next week.
It is kind of morbid, but I thought it was funny. So anyways, okay. All right. So this, I actually found this on TikTok and it was so good I had to share. And it's about a process server. And I actually used to work with a guy that was like starting a business. Like, he worked with me when I worked at the barbecue place, and he was like trying to get up his private investigator business, which is like,
yeah,
there's people that serve papers for like courts, and you work for the sheriff's office in the court system, or you can be a private investigator and people can hire you to serve papers, because if you go through the court, it'll take longer. So if you pay someone, like they'll contract with lawyers to do that. So yeah, so it's a lot of you're delivering bad news for a living is how this guy described it. And what's super interesting is that most of these are done in disguises, because most people are trying to avoid getting served papers.
Pineapple Express.
Yes, exactly. That's literally the concept of that movie. And it's so funny because it's like, this guy did explain that, it's not always that you did something wrong. Like, it could be that like you're getting sued, or just that you like have to testify for something. So it's not necessarily it's your fault, but maybe you worked at a job and witnessed something happen, and you have to now go sit at a trial for it, which is ridiculous. Or it could be like child support, unpaid credit card debts. He said literally 98% of the time the people are furious. Like, there's very few people that are like, oh, I had no idea. This is like, okay, whatever, we'll deal with it. Most people are fucking pissed off. So here is the story. So he had a man that it was specifically an Asian guy that was getting served papers. And he was like, I don't think he even said what it was for. He was like, I think he was getting sued for something, or, some sort of summons. And he was a realtor. So he was like, it's actually fairly easy to find where he worked at. So he go ahead and he looks up this guy and he finds his office. He goes in and asks the first guy that he sees if he's so-and-so, if he's this person. And he says, oh no, that guy doesn't work here anymore. And he's like, that's kind of weird. So he gets in his car, he looks at the website, and he's like, well, the website says he still works here, and this is actually like his phone number right here. So he's like, all right, well, I'll deal with this. So the processor leaves, like, he has to go pick up his kids from school. It was just like funny that he was trying to serve papers and then he had to go pick his kids up.
Yeah.
He picked his kids up from school, and on the way back, he passed by this office again and noticed it was full of people. Like, they were putting on some sort of, like, he described it as like a cultural event. It was like a bunch of other like Asians that were filling up this office. And he was like, hang on, kids. I have an idea. And so this place is packed full of people. So he goes back in and they don't even notice because it's full of people. Yeah. He calls that number that was on the website and it starts ringing out loud. So he just starts weaving in and out of people. And sure enough, it leads him right to the guy that he saw the first time.
So he knew. He's like, this guy is asking for someone. Asking for me.
He was like, no, I don't work here. And he was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And he was like, no, it's not me. It's not me. And I was like, huh. And somehow, I don't know how he got him to say his name. Oh, he like had his name tag on or something because they were having the event going on.
It's you.
And he's like, well, your phone rang and you have this name tag on, so you've been served. But he tried to say like, oh, I didn't read it. People, you don't have to read the summons as long as you've been served the summons. Like you're going to go in. Like you can't just avoid this forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, isn't that funny?
That's so funny. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I was like,
That's
who would have thought of that? But yeah, no, he described, I guess there was another one where, and I'm saying this off of memory. I just wrote this one story down, but so he had another one where he served papers to a guy. I think it was the drummer for Fleetwood Mac or something. Like this would have been like back in, I'm not even kidding you.
Oh my God, that's
this is what
awesome.
he claimed. And so he's like, and this guy is older now. So I think that's why he's telling he's able to tell these stories because there's less risk. Yeah. So he's like, it was the drummer for Fleetwood Mac. And he was like, honestly, I can tell you, they tell you don't look at the paper. We always look at the paper. He wasn't getting in trouble. He was just having to testify. And he was like, and it's really hard to deliver these summons, especially famous people. So he said, I just ended up saying, F it. I bought a ticket to a smaller show of his. And he was like, right when there was like a break in something, he like jumped the fence onto the stage and was like, hey, Mac or whatever. And he's like, yep. And he like threw his papers on his drum set. And then security, of course, like jumps all over him, starts like beating the shit out of him, and then pulls out his badge. And then, by the time it all settles down and they bring him off stage, they were like, why did you do that? And he was like, I was having a hell of a time serving him. So it just made the most sense. And then he was like, I never did that again because that was a mistake.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Isn't that hilarious? I mean, that job would suck. I will say, like, because you're always like, you are delivering bad news, and I mean, I think it would be extremely depressing.
Oh my God, but that was really good. That's so funny.
Isn't that funny? I just like randomly was like found that, and I was like, that's hilarious. So that should be told because it's unique.
Yes, that is so good.
That's also awesome. Horrible job. I would hate that job.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't do that. Hell no.
No.
All right.
God, that's awesome.
I think that's all we have for the week. Huh?
Yeah. Sweet.
All
right. Do you want to close us out?
I'll close us out. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Ashton. And we'll see you next Wednesday. No, not Wednesday, Monday.
Monday.
It's Wednesday when we're recording.
Mondays. Boy, I hate Mondays. They make me so steamed. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.